Hello and good evening for Thursday. I'm sorry, October 3rd, 2024. It is the end of week 11 in the Big Brother 26 house. We're down to the final four, but we're just getting started here on Super Mater Brothers Podcasting, a live stream here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch here on almost quarter to 11 tonight. You might be joining us on the live stream. We were kind of jumping around with the start time. Jaemeel, sadly, us Canadians were disrupted tonight by the broadcast, and we're going to talk about that. In the States, you watch it, of course, on CBS. In Canada, Global has the rights, but Canada chose to air a show called 911.
Stupid procedural.
A procedural show.
A stupid procedural. You know what? This episode of 911 that was so important that they had to delay Big Brother for an hour. A truck, for whatever reason, was transporting killer bees in the middle of LA, and it got in an accident, and all those bees let loose, and 911 was called because the killer bees could potentially kill 40,000 people in LA, and the 911 staff had to put their neurons together to figure out how to save the day. Spoilers, next week there's going to be another issue that 911 has to deal with. And then last week, there was another issue that 911 had to deal with. So it's a procedural. So that means, it just is on an endless loop of almost the exact same thing.
Is it a fiction or is it a
fiction?
Oh, it's a fiction. Okay.
I was procedural. It's like the stupid Chicago shows or
Chicago Fire.
Yeah, Chicago Med, Chicago PD.
But it must be a global show. It must be like their show and they're trying to push it.
Well, it's an American show.
It's an American show. So
yes.
So I wonder, because Global doesn't just deal with CBS. They must have, this must be like another rights thing they have to air this. And they had a conflict tonight. So Jaemeel, I actually watched this episode on CBS, and because Global wasn't playing it, we didn't get the commercials pasted over. So I got to watch all kinds of fun Buffalo commercials that I normally don't
Gambino
see.
Ford.
There was the Barnes firm. I don't know what happened to Salino, but Barnes is still going.
Barnes is still going.
Apparently, yes. So that was fun because even if you try to watch, like normally if Global and CBS are playing at the same time, I have both channels. If I try to go to CBS normally, it will just still show me the Global ads. It's almost like Global just takes over the CBS feed while that show's on, because I guess for Canadian advertising rights, they want to make sure that they get those, they can prove that Canadians only watch those versions of the show and don't watch these American ads. But tonight, it wasn't quite like the Super Bowl where we got amazing commercials, but it was part of the experience. A 2-hour episode, Jaemeel, after no Wednesday episode this week or next week. I'm not complaining, especially now that we're in Survivor season. But a lot to break down here tonight, kind of. As Chemo is evicted here 2-0 by Cam and Chelsea. And on the HOH of Mackenzie. And so we are down to our final four here. Cam, we got Mackenzie, Rubina, and of course Chelsea. And I have 2 of the final 4, Jaemeel, in this draft this year, and I'm feeling okay about it. I thinking better about Chelsea than I am about Cam at this point. Cam's like a backup.
I just finished my my email to Global.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the
no.
the angry letter to Global about what are you doing? This is not right. People wanted to watch this in Canada.
People complain about there's so many reality television on television. No, there's too many procedurals on television. There's too many procedurals. They take up too much space. People complain about comic book movies and how much that is just taking up so much space in media. No, it's procedurals. There's too many, right? It's been going on too long. Too many stupid cop shows, too many stupid medical shows, too many lawyer shows, too many firefighter shows, too many of it. It's bland and it's boring, right? And all of them follow the same type of format. That is boring. No, thank you.
Is there another show that you would have been okay with them, like, saying,
No,
sorry, no?
like if you're it, look, especially the eviction episode. If it wasn't the eviction episode, we can have a different conversation.
More
But eviction
forgivable.
episode, especially when it's um, airing, uh, quote unquote live, it's presentation there. That means if we're an hour behind, by the time we finish our first hour, the news is already out, right? About who got evicted,
True.
right? It makes not it's nonsensical,
It's
right?
yeah,
Where
this
be
is the
like,
more
"Oh,
consequential episode.
stop the bees in 911." Let's talk about the episode of 911 and how they saved the day this time.
Right.
There's nothing like that.
Well, Global, they had to make a call, and that's what they did.
They chose
So
poorly.
they chose they chose poorly, as they would say in the was the Last Crusade of Indiana Jones there. But Jaemeel, um, this 2 hour episode, okay, I gotta tell you, it was a little tough for me tonight. It was like, what were they? For a lot of it, they were like throwing tortillas around, and
Slapping each other in the face with tortillas. This is what
yeah,
we couldn't
this
get
is
the
what's making the
H2H.
air. This is what's making the final 5 episode. This is what all the drama and thing. It's a very passive, final house guest here. I think it's kind of maybe this younger generation. They're a little bit more kumbaya and not as cutthroat as whatever. But I thought Jaemeel will be saying that back in the Dr. Will days, they would never have slapped tortillas around.
No, they probably,
They probably would have
would.
actually.
There would be more drama than just this in this episode.
Right. Well, the other, I guess the episode was a lot about just misdirect. I thought too, like, well, maybe we could get out Cam, but why bother? And like, I don't think I was ever taking it too seriously. It felt like, the Mackenzie was targeting Rubina and Chemo here, and if one of them had come down, then yeah, sure, like they would have, I think Cam probably would have been the renom, and maybe that would have been an interesting outcome to this week. But that's not quite what we get. We instead get Mackenzie winning the veto here too, as well, in the BB Comics competition. And she has all the power for the week, and she manages, she flirts with the idea in this episode. Oh, maybe Cam, he must be throwing these competitions. What's he doing? Like, how can he be beat by Chemo? This guy was in the CFL of all things, right? Like, there's no way. But I think that it's completely, I completely believe Cam that yes, he's just bad at these. Like, and he just doesn't really have that passion, that oomph, that let's go out and get it. Your
thoughts.
Yes.
My thoughts on this matter.
Yes,
When you talk about passive gameplay, I'm going to switch gears and let's talk about Chemo and Rubina.
Okay.
So at this time that Mackenzie was thinking about possibly switching things up and getting Cam out, Chemo and Rubina were also at the same time saying they're going to make a case so that, either Chelsea or Cam get voted out, right? And they kept saying, as they usually do, that they're going to talk about it. They promise they're gonna have a conversation and put in some work, and then they don't. And one of the best ways to make sure that you can kind of like save your life in the game is talk to the HOH, which they seem very hesitant to do, even when there's only 5 people left in the game. I don't want to end up talking to this or pitch too much, right? They're always pitching. They're always talking amongst themselves and making grand plans. And then when it comes to pitch, they don't pitch, or they pitch well after things have been decided.
Okay, so you lay the eviction of Chemo, at his own feet, and maybe a bit at Rubina's as well. Here is that they sort of, what are you doing? Where's the fight here? You're fighting with tortillas, but there's no real, game here. Like where, you should be clawing and fighting for your life. Instead, he kind of just rode off into the sunset here. Aloha.
Yeah.
Like I guess that's the thing is that some of the more aggressive, spicy, dramatic players, they're all gone from this season, right? And so a lot of the people that are left,
Are weak-willed?
kind of, except with the exception of probably Chelsea McKenzie, who I don't put in that category. I don't think Rubina's weak-willed in most aspects of her life, but in this game, she seems weak-willed.
I think Mackenzie is, because Mackenzie totally got fooled by Chelsea in voting out, and she felt it this week, where she realized how dumb it was to get rid of Leah, who would have been on her side, and realizing that she is in a tough position because
Ultimately,
she
Cam's
has
loyal to Chelsea, right? As well.
well, and is Chelsea seems like she's loyal to me, but is she really loyal to me? Like, there was questions about um, as we came down to a final decision as to who they were going to vote, and Chelsea was trying to put a foot down, but there was a lot of back and forth where they're like, we're going to pick this person instead of this person, and was against her wishes ultimately. And then, but
Yeah,
at the end result, it seems like they finally were convinced, and they did what the HOH wanted them to do.
yeah. Well, I think that there is, like, when you look at Mackenzie's game here, and which she's been successful, in competitions at least, but in terms of how she's I think in particular this Leah thing was not a good move for her in the previous week before this double eviction. Into this week, I think Chelsea just seems to have her ear a little bit more than she should, but I think that that's just because Mackenzie's a little young and maybe not as experienced yet. I think an older Mackenzie might do differently here. That's sort of my sense of her. Maybe not. Maybe she would do this at 30, but I somehow doubt it. I think that she's kind of just a little green here, and
but she's worked with men in construction. She's tough,
well,
as her bio said.
So she says, and I think I think that there's a little bit, there's truth to that as well, but maybe not. It might be a bit exaggerated, but I think that that's probably necessary, as well. Who had chemo? Daryl. Okay. I was just updating the draft here.
Poor Daryl.
He's not doing well in drafts these years. He's down to Rubina though.
Yeah, he's definitely a lock for final two.
I'm a lock for final two. It appears. I don't think we're getting the Rubina Cam final two. Or Cam McKenzie. I don't know. Okay, and so ultimately, my other thing in this episode that kind of threw me off was like Cam was kind of talking to Chemo and saying like maybe I don't want to be see the last other guy go into this final four. Maybe me against three girls is a mistake. So he flirts with this idea of keeping Chemo. Ultimately, he votes Chemo out here. He goes along with Chelsea, probably because that's what Chelsea told him to do. Probably because he was told even if you force a tie, Mackenzie will break it to vote out Chemo anyway. Even though that was not also in Mackenzie's interest in this game, Jaemeel, is that Mackenzie was like, well, no, like I can probably work with Rubina, and Rubina might actually, take me if she happens to win power or whatever, and into this next stage. So she was more inclined to vote out Chemo here, I guess. But that's not what Chelsea liked. So why did Chelsea ultimately Chelsea made this call here to vote out Chemo as well? I guess that's my ultimate. Why did Chelsea do this? If Chelsea's calling the shots.
So when it last left on the feeds this morning, Cam had seemingly convinced Chelsea about keeping Chemo. And we saw that back and forth where they were like teaming up on Mackenzie, sorry, to keep Chemo, and she wasn't having it. And they were going back and forth, and it seemed like Chelsea was 100% on board. Right? And then Cam would leave, and then it was Mackenzie and Chelsea, and Mackenzie more or less says, "Okay, Goody's gone. Now, come on, we have to, you know, get rid of jeez,
Chemo.
chemo. It's so late. It's been such a day.
No
I
problem.
swear. Okay, focus. All right. So yes, and Chelsea was still on board in terms of, keeping chemo, which Chelsea was kind of angry about, right? And she was angry because she didn't understand how all these plans were made, and then all of a sudden Cam gets it into his head in terms of communicating with Chelsea about keeping chemo, right? And uh, Cam, who just had a horrible week in terms of how he's being presented as an ally, is just like, well, I think chemo is obviously better for my game, and even though I'm technically not contributing outside of my vote, um, I still think that we should do something. I should have an equal say in this partnership where you and Chelsea are doing all the heavy lifting, Mackenzie.
Right. Winning all
Right?
the HOHs, getting out all these big targets.
Because the truth of the matter is the difference between Robina, T Core, Cam versus Cam, Chelsea, and
Mackenzie.
MJ is that in Big Brother, right? To have power, you must win, right? You must eventually win, right? And the only time that in the last, what, 5 or 6 uh, head of households and vetoes is there's one win amongst a trio of T Core, Rabina, and and Chemo versus Mackenzie's won what, like 4, right? No, 4. I think 4 in the last 6,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
6 weeks,
She's been
4.
winning a lot,
And Chelsea's won 2 head of households in that same span, right?
including the double eviction one, which is, very
Which is very
memorable.
vital,
And she gets out
right?
Angela on that, who, she can pin her, a feather in her cap on that one, but
So, like, what you doing, Cam? What you doing, Cam? Right?
well,
Uh,
that's the thing is like, will they ultimately want to take Cam, whether you're Mackenzie or Chelsea, like, let's assume just for argument's sake, they get Rabina out next. Rabina is eliminated this week. She, one of them wins power. Let's say it's
so,
Chelsea and
so
they get
keep
out
in mind, for
Rabina.
that to happen, that means either Cam or Chelsea win head of household,
Correct.
right? And then either um, Chelsea, Cam, or Mackenzie win veto,
Right.
right?
Those
For
are the
them to be
options.
able to vote to get Rabina out.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say Rabina doesn't win HOH or veto,
Correct.
and which is, I think, not impossible. Uh,
Absolutely, I
that
agree.
that's going to occur. So, and they get out Rabina one way or the other. It's either whether it's Cam or Chelsea's HOH. I don't know. Like, I guess if it's Cam's HOH, like, it changes his game a little bit because at least he can say he did something. He won something at one point.
He won immunity.
He won immunity but
Yeah, he won
ultimately
immunity during Final Four veto.
he
Final.
won the easiest HOH there is to win, where you have no other choices, right?
Yeah,
Basically, you barely have a choice. And what happens? You basically just get to decide who's initially on the block.
yeah.
That's it. That's it. And you're safe, And so, but either way, we get down to this final 3, and whether Mackenzie, let's say Mackenzie or Chelsea wins, like, those are the 2 options to win the final HOH, right? And do they both cut each other and take Cam to the final 2?
They should
They
technically.
should, right? But if you look at them, these 2 women in that situation, like, are they both likely to do that? I think Chelsea's much more likely to do that.
I think they're both willing to do it because I think both of their games look better than Cam's.
Right. But
Right?
would Mackenzie be sort of almost like a Cody Calafiore season 16 kind of a move here, where she takes the stronger competitor to the final 2?
No, I think enough people have told her.
Yeah.
Well, she might take Chelsea. honestly.
And Chelsea, if Chelsea can just work her all week, leading up to that decision.
Well, that's where the veto is going to be so important, because if Cam wins it, and let's say Cam doesn't have HOH, so that means either you have a combination of uh, Rubina, Mackenzie, or Chelsea,
Okay,
right?
so we're back in the final 4 week here.
Yeah.
We're
Let's say it is, as I mentioned, Cam is the one who gets to choose, right? Ultimately, who is there on the block,
yeah.
right? Or
So he puts up Rubina and Mackenzie, maybe,
right? And then he wins again, right? So that means he's going to have.
There's no way. There's no way Cam wins back to back.
Who says?
Well,
when it comes, especially if it's one of those like, get the highest number type of deals, like how he won veto last time.
It's not impossible, but
he beat Tucker because Tucker missed, not because he beat Tucker.
The trend of the season would indicate that Cam is not going to win back-to-back competitions, since he's won basically none. But maybe, it's not impossible. It happens. And so, all of a sudden Cam comes alive, especially after this week where he's been sort of emasculated and told by Chelsea Mackenzie. Like, it was rough in this episode. I felt bad for him, where they're like, what the hell is wrong? 30 plus minutes? Chemo beats you in the BB comics? Like, you were a pro football player. What is wrong with you? Chemo
he has was it carpal tunnel, a bad back, and he's 35.
He's like an ancient man at 35. You're a spry 25, Cam. There's no way. Like, I love how they think
yips.
I got the yips. I don't know what I'm doing.
I just love how he's describing the yips to someone who's never heard the yips before, right?
Yeah.
And expecting them to believe it. It's just like, come on.
They're like, come on.
Got all my dogs at the crib.
He's like, yeah, crib.
But when I say Cam has to, like, you're saying that Cam needs to, is impossible for him to win 2 times in a row.
Well, not impossible, but highly unlikely.
Rubina does not win one of the 2 times, or like any of the times, because if she wins she wins head of household, their trio is done. If she wins veto, their trio is done. Like,
yeah, if I was a betting man, and I'm not, but if I was, I would put money on Mackenzie and Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea winning the HOH and Mackenzie again winning the next veto is a very high percentage chance, I think, for me in this next week. Now, it might not happen. It might be some other variation of that. Obviously, Mackenzie can't win, but I can see even Chelsea winning HOH and veto. I would put that as a very high likelihood. I would put Chelsea HOH, Mackenzie wins the veto is the next likely outcome. Cam probably after that, winning one of those 2 competitions, probably not both, and then Rubina probably not winning anything, but Rubina could win both, and this could be completely a completely flipped situation. I think that's the most interesting outcome next week if somehow Rubina's HOH, and if she has the veto.
Oh my god! Well, all she will be doing is choosing who gets to pick who goes.
But it would give her a lot more credibility with the jury.
Mm-hmm.
It would keep her safe, obviously, puts her in the final 3,
yeah,
and gives her a shot to make a case, at least, in a final 2 situation.
Well, not necessarily. She has to win a final 3.
Well, but she'll be in the final 3, or she might get taken. She might just get taken to the final 2.
I would try to find out who knows their days better, and if it's Chelsea, that's the person who I have to focus on getting rid of, because sure, Mackenzie winning. If it was Mackenzie, Cam, and Rubina, right? Mackenzie's gonna win one of the two, head to heads, right? She's gonna win one of them. Right?
Oh, very likely. I think
right?
It's yeah.
So the question is, Rubina, if it's Rubina, can I beat Cam, right, on the wall climbing competition that's most likely going to be part 2?
I would have liked to have known who had a worse time, Cam or Rubina, in the BB Comics competition tonight.
I have to believe it's Cam.
You think Cam had the worst time?
I think so.
That would have been like because Rubina was not doing well in this. I think she might have even timed out, but I'm not even 100%. But yeah, this is crucial. I think that like if you're a Rubina fan out there watching right now,
all the Filipinos,
all the big Rubina stands out there, I think like this is do or die for her this week. I think that if she wins this HOH,
it shouldn't be though.
Like you
if
think
you're
that
Cam, shouldn't you want to keep Rubina?
Yes, but okay, but you don't really. And everything I've analyzed about Cam this season indicates to me that he does whatever Chelsea tells him to do, right? So I think that, like, yes, like if you're objectively looking at what Cam should do or play or do, yes, I agree. But I don't think he will do these things. I think he's just kind of go, okay. I think
shout out to all my dogs in the crib.
That's what he lives for. That's all he does. Like, I'm here to shout out to my dogs in the crib every Thursday night, and beyond that, I don't care that much. He's just kind of existing in the house. He's getting kind of dragged along. The women are resentful of it, but they're like, well, I'd rather sit next to him than like somebody who's got a better case in the final two. Like whether you're Mackenzie and Chelsea, they have to be looking at each other now as their rivals, right? To in this,
but like on the sly saying, "Oh yeah, the only person that's gonna give me trouble at the end is you." But like it's the same thing. You thinking about me, so it makes sense that we take each other, so that there is a strong woman who wins at the end.
I think
that's the conversation you kind of, as you're working together in a trio. Right? Isn't the temptation is like, yeah, I'm gonna have to drop you and take Cam because he's ass, right? You're kind of lying to yourself. You're lying to each other.
I think you can make that pitch, right? Shouldn't we want to go against each other? I think that's almost the default argument, but I don't think that often holds true. I think once in a while you'll see somebody says, "Yeah, I just want the best final two possible." That usually ends up being a mistake.
Woo,
it's Survivor. Right? The woo move, the woo taking Tony. That's a good example.
Yeah.
And I think Cody in season 16, right? Like if he takes Victoria, he wins that season, right? But he takes Derek, and he loses. And I think the most it's not impossible for that to happen again, but I think that they're not that dumb.
How many people in jury? How many people in jury?
How many people in the jury? Good point. So far we now have Chemo is our fifth juror. I'm sorry. So we get 2 more jurors. So 7 more. 7
So
jurors.
7. So Rubina could technically have T-Core, right? Could have against Cam. T-Core could have Angela, could have Chemo. That's 3, right? And then like all she has to do is get 1 more vote. That's kind of scary.
The thing with who are we talking about? Rubina. Well, it is scary. I don't even think let's say that Rubina wins this next HOH and she just has safety for the week. So now like Cam, Mackenzie, and Chelsea have to eat each other. They have to try. One of them goes one way or the other. And when you get down to this final 3, let's say Cam's the one to go there. And now you get this 3 women final 3. They got to be looking at Rubina as the biggest threat, right? Because they'll say almost like guaranteed T-Core and Chemo are voting for Rubina no matter what. That's almost 2 votes locked up immediately.
Especially since T-Core thinks that Chelsea voted for her in the 4-1.
Right, she's a little bitter against Chelsea, or she was talking about.
She thought that Chelsea did it, not Chemo voted for her to keep her.
Right. But eventually she'll find out that's not.
She'll find out.
Yeah,
especially now that Chemo's back.
Right, exactly. But you saw that we got to talk about the jury segment eventually too. But that T-Core was kind of propping up Chelsea a lot. Oh, Chelsea the best, right? Chelsea this, but she was also saying that about Rubina and Chemo a lot. So those are the 3.
I think she loves Rubina and Chemo.
She does.
She can. Her lizard brain is like Chelsea's playing the best game. Quinn said the exact same thing. Right.
Right. No one was talking about Mackenzie. I think Mackenzie's still playing a good game.
Well, Leah did. Leah said that she's the comp beast of the season, and she just keeps winning, and she saved herself. And Leah seems like she doesn't hold any. She's disappointed, but she doesn't feel like ill will towards.
Not bitter about
Yeah.
it. Dr. Will come through at some point and shake.
Well,
that
no,
out.
Dr. Will this year.
Oh, we'll get some version of that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Dr. Will said that he's not doing it, and then there's a lot of debate as to who will be the roundtable guest. Taylor Hale has thrown her hat in the ring, but I think she's a little bit too. She's too recent and also too well liked.
Yeah, they'll probably get Derek or Cody or somebody like that.
They should.
Nicole Franzel, hi everybody, and then she's like, "Now are you bitter?"
Get Christine so everyone could boo her.
No one remembers Christine.
They're like, "Who are you, Christine?" And then they show a picture of her husband. It's like, "Oh yes, oh yes."
Oh yeah. Right. I was just so fixated with Cody Calafiore.
What about the girl that season who got hit by the train and got reconstruction surgery, and every time she appeared, they made a choo-choo train sound every time?
I don't remember that.
I don't know her name, but I remember that about her. That was so embarrassing. What about Derek X? People like Derek
X. Sure, why not Derek X? Bring back Derek X. Yeah. Do I have any Derek X on the soundboard? I wonder.
He wasn't necessarily known for his
quotes.
His quotes. Or Xavier. Or put Kylan there. Have Kylan be the.
I have some Derek X going on here. Let's go with.
I can't go against the Royal Flush Alliance.
Yes, the very impressive and memorable Royal Flush Alliance.
Don't forget it. Never forget about the Royal Flush Alliance.
So everything I do, I try to be the best at it.
Well, there you go. So that's his pitch to come be the Dr. Will. I don't think it's going to be him either. They're bringing back Jag next week. They said, for his assessment of the game so far. Almost like he's
they're not winning enough comps. They're not winning enough.
Win more comps and you'll win the game probably. And there's some truth to that.
I honestly, without you, if you didn't remember mention his name, I totally would have forgot he won last year.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, Jag won last year? Like this, like 1 year ago? I barely remember any of that.
Someone asked me what happened last year. I'm like, Suri was on the show.
Right. I remember the season, but it feels like it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Instead of last year.
Is it because this year's later and it's just longer? It's not even longer. It's only at 77 so far. I think
it's also just a lot of that cast last year I feel was forgettable.
Yeah.
And I feel like this cast is a little bit more memorable this year too. So
the beginning of the season of last season was more memorable with the Teachers Alliance with was it Hissam who was like so no nonsense.
Yeah, do I still have some Hissam quotes? I do.
It's shocking, isn't it? It's shocking.
Serena and her stupid son.
Yeah.
But like I remember the season before better than last season.
Jared.
Yeah. I remember the season before better than last season. I remember the cookout season better than last season.
The cookout season is very memorable. Tiffany, I still like. She's very much in my mind. And Derek F.
Derek Frazier, Derek X, Kylan.
Yeah. I like that whole cookout alliance is very memorable. Strategically and entertainment wise, it's just because how much they hated each other and how they stuck together.
Which I think ultimately is the difference between T-Core's alliance versus Chelsea's alliance, right?
Oh yeah, complete opposites.
Yeah, the lesson to be learned is sure you really connect with people in the house and you're the best friends forever. But if those friends can't win, right,
right,
then all you're doing is hanging out until you're eliminated. Right?
Well, that's how they feel about Cam, right? Because they're like, "What are you doing? Like you've been coasting along the game like a floater. We all thought you were Mr. Comp Beast with the muscles and the height and the football experience, and you're like losing to chemo." And I feel like they're like, "Why did we ever team up with you in the first place? This is pointless."
Now, but at that point, when let's go 3-4 weeks back, would they have rather have trusted Quinn to be their third? No, that wouldn't have worked out well.
No, I think like Cam has played his role in that he's a vote for them, and that's his role.
And to look intimidating.
And yeah, even if he doesn't win, he's always a threat to win in people's minds, even if that's a very I'm saying I don't have much confidence in his ability to win either competition next week, but
it depends on what it is, though.
It could happen. Jaemeel, like we saw the BB comics tonight, and of course, Cam here, the chameleon, because he's invisible.
Yeah.
He's been invisible this season. No one will see him coming. Yeah, no kidding. We don't even see him on the show. Like,
honestly, I felt they should have had him as a chameleon, and the enemies were on a boat, and he was on a life raft waiting to pounce onto their boat. Because he's been floating around waiting for them to come around, and no one will see him floating towards them.
He was almost bragging about this in the diary room. It's like, yeah, man, I'm the chameleon. He thought it was cool. I'm like, this is a critique. Okay, this is like saying you are invisible in the game, and unless like you're a chameleon that strikes, like we still even in this pose, he's not doing anything. He's maybe gonna do something, and that's kind of like the apt cover here is that he's.
So is he like the guy in The Simpsons where there's the gigantic mob battle, and Homer just keeps wanting to stare at the short guy with his arms folded? He's like, he's gonna do something cool.
You watch out. Yeah. Well, while we have these up, maybe we should just run through all your initial reactions. I know you're not a big fan of this, Jaemeel, but
no, you know what? No, let me be fair. I feel like because this episode was just so long, it's so trying, that it made it hard to really appreciate this. That's why.
Yeah, I get it. And like we've seen this competition with the same thing over and over for the last several years now. It's a little tired, but I thought that some of these covers were good this year. So the charcuterie thief here for Brooklyn, hide your salami, pretty funny if you found the whole charcuterie thing humorous, which I think a lot of people did. Not a bad take here for memory here for Brooklyn, R.I.P. We already talked about Cam, and so Cedric's was kind of generic and blah.
Barely legal,
totally lethal.
How old is Cedric again?
Cedric was like 20. Where is he here?
Was he
21? 21.
So he is legal.
Barely legal for alcohol. Totally. It's not that great. This is Chelsea's, right? The microchip. He's on the ultimate power trip. What is I didn't get this one.
Okay, because if your memory serves, it can go back that far. The first week of Big Brother, her and Cedric were in those microchip unitards, right? And they couldn't participate.
Yeah, that's right. I had forgotten about all that.
It's from week 1, dude.
It was 11 weeks ago. It's a long time ago, and yeah, like when I think about Chelsea now, I don't think of her as that. If she had been voted out the second week, that's how I would remember her. But I was trying to figure out what this was, and thank you for reminding me. But it's kind of boring.
Wait, what?
Like this is I feel like there's something more here for Chelsea that would have been better, more funny, but they didn't. They went safe, generic, blah. Let's have a look at Joseph's, where he's in like a time machine. His comic's called Rewind, pausing crime throughout time. Pausing crime?
Yeah, because like don't be kind, please rewind.
Oh, because he works in a video store.
Yeah,
but I think it's mostly a DVD store, not a VHS store.
Yeah.
But whatever. They're like, this guy actually works in a video store. That's his most interesting thing. Okay, this one. Actually, okay, let's go back. Let's give these grades. Let's give these grades as we go. Okay, Brooklyn is for me I'll give it a C. Okay,
Yeah, I
it's
give it
pretty
a C
funny.
too. For if I was Brooklyn, I'd be like, wait, this is what you boiled down my entire game to, right? The
That's what I
one,
would boil her game down to as well. Other than like the Pentagon, she'd have to have like a Pentagon thing or something like that. That would be her other thing. I get Cam's, I don't know, about the same. A C. It's like it's all right. It fits for him. It's like the most apt kind of thing. No one will see him coming. No one will see him do anything either.
yeah.
That should be the case. Cedric's is
Mhm.
a D minus at
Yeah.
best. Okay. I'd say Chelsea's is an F for me. I don't like
I
it.
think it's a B, but once
B.
again, a B. I think it's clever, but at the same time, is this what we're boiling down her Big Brother year to? Like this is what we're boiling.
She has
it down to?
power. She wins a lot. I guess I don't know.
I
It's kind of
guess.
blah. It's whatever. Then Joseph's I think is boring. Like it's not really that funny or anything.
So I'm gonna give this a D plus, and the only reason why is the art is good. The amount of
Okay.
detail that's there, you can obviously they put a lot of effort into it. But at the
Dr.
same
Will
time-
back in July of 2001.
yeah, right. It seems like there was a lot of effort that was put into it. It just seems
Art wise, I like it. Okay,
Yeah.
when I'm giving these grades, I'm giving a grade, but how like
I'm
think,
combining both. So
I'm
the
going
failing
more based
grade,
on the theme of this particular player. Are they is this a good zing? I guess is also what I'm looking for.
I feel it fails in terms of its zing, but I think it's better because of its execution. So that's why I give it a D plus.
Okay. Okay. Kenny's is one of the best because it just shows how much the producers really hate Kenny. His is Sweet Kenny K, and it says he's a real weeder. And even Kibo was throwing shade at Kenny. He's like, I hope he's reunited with his loved ones wherever he is. I hope he's better now.
Because they're probably like they were pissed off that this dude wanted to leave the house the first week.
He's like, I don't like this. I want to go home to my family. Like, well, I'll never see them again. Like, like for an older guy, it's a little.
Yeah, it was not like he was like emotionally distraught. He was just kind of distracted.
It's not like his babies are like 2 years old or something, and he's missing all. They were grown up. I don't know, whatever. But I thought Kenny's was funny. Chemo's. Oh, sorry. What are we giving Kenny's? I give Kenny at least a B.
I give it a C.
Okay. Volchemo, All's Fair and Lava and More. I don't know.
That's like, hey, he's from Hawaii, so this is basically the only thing we can think of, right? That's the only thing we have. The fact that he's doing something seems very weird because that's very un-chemo like.
He seems like
he would
why
be
is he
an unactive volcano.
He's like bursting lava at innocent surfers. Like he seems to be a villain.
Yeah, it does.
But a happy one. I give this one a D.
Yeah, D minus actually for me.
D minus. Okay. The chubby chaser here for Leah.
Okay, this is an A. I love this.
She's a heavy hitter is the caption. And I think that's pretty funny. Like they got the slop hair.
What I'm missing is a Quinn Lois Lane kind of like looking fondly at her, or maybe Joseph, like, as Jimmy Olsen trying to take a photo of her.
Yeah, actually, that would have been funny if they had thrown Quinn and Joseph into this somehow. But she talks about being a chubby chaser, but she's going after Quinn apparently, who's not too chubby. Anyway,
He's like, oh damn, why did I work out? Now that I know this, let's see in the next video to see if he put on more pounds.
He's trying hard. He's eating these slop burgers. So I'm giving Leah's a B. I think it's
I'm giving it a straight A. I love it.
Okay. All right. An A
She
for.
probably gonna have this framed on a wall.
Then we got to what, Lisa? Is that
Lisa the Glitter Critter?
The glitter critter. Don't feed her edible glitter after midnight. Like this one's
You don't like
creepy.
the Gremlins reference?
Well, I like the Gremlins reference, but I don't know. I didn't feel like this one was a good one for Lisa. Lisa's character was so much more of like a Tinkerbell kind of I felt like putting her in this like grotesque version of herself,
looking like a troll.
She looks like more like a troll, and like
the feet.
not very flattering here for Lisa. So I thought that this is not like, I like the Gremlins thing, but I don't think this is not the direction I would have went
I'd
for
be
the Lisa
flat
one.
out kind of insulted by this, honestly.
Yeah, I can't imagine Lisa likes this. And I don't know. I give this one D.
Yeah,
Or even, I know, actually, I'm going F. This is an F. It missed the mark. Then we get to Mech, Mech, Kenzie, Kenzie. She'll control alt delete you, whatever that means.
That's to open up the taskbar that you can end programs.
Well, I know that, but like, she'll control. Okay, whatever. But like, who are the scientists? Who's this guy?
Joseph.
Is this Joseph? Is this Joseph and Quinn? And we don't know it. They're part of the experiment to create the Mackenzie bot.
Mackenzie. Are they saying that she's a game bot?
She's coming to take Chenbot down, perhaps. I don't know. This one's okay. This one's fine. Okay. I guess it's good likeness, I guess, but kind of boring. I give it a C+.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we get to Crazy Eyes, Matt himself, with the caption, "His retina is getting ya." And I laughed out loud when I saw this one the first time. This is straight up an A+ for me. This is amazing.
The fact that he has this clueless face, I also did love a lot.
I like how everyone in the background is just angry and crazy with him. And he's more like a villain character, it feels like, and this one's just very good. A chef's kiss, as they would say.
Peas Angela.
What's your grade for the Crazy Eyes?
Crazy Eyes, I'll give it a B.
B?
Yeah.
What in the world? Jason R. Phillips asks.
Jason, jump on.
Yeah, well, he's not a Big Brother guy.
I know, but he could still give ratings to this. We got 3 more, right? 3 more left.
This buddy. All right, we're down to Quinn. Quinn's Sanity, the ultimate mad hair day. This one is blah for me. I think this is not the funniest version.
Wait, I'm trying to realize. So that's Cam in the background. That's Rubina, and that's Chemo.
Maybe. I don't know if those are meant to be those 3 people.
Should have been Tucker. All the people he was involved in getting out. Tucker, Cedric, and not really Cedric, but Tucker for sure.
Grotesque. I would call this one.
Grotesque. I like the art, so I would give this a C-. Otherwise, it would be getting a very low mark.
Yeah, I'm giving it a D. It's blah for me. And then we get to Rubina, the roller rebel. Is that in her intro package that she was a roller skater or something? I think I forgot.
Something like that. She said that's a big part of her personality. The way it seems.
Won't let crime skate by. I don't know.
So she likes roller skating a lot.
F.
It's an F.
It's an F.
Yeah, I appreciate how excited she was about it, though.
Yeah. No, I'm not with it. Jaemeel, yours.
Yeah, it could be an F. It's more the background more than anything.
I don't like the art either. I think it
just seems kind of lazy. Like okay,
Crow Slay here for T-Core.
I have to agree. This was pretty awesome.
And apparently Mackenzie's dad is here in the background. I think is it this man? No. It's this man. We did see Mackenzie's dad tonight, and he kind of did look like this guy. But
is Mackenzie's dad a big T-Core fan? Maybe.
Right. Actually, we can actually see the artist's signature here. Tom T at M.
Maybe.
Yeah. Cross her and you're in deep knit. Oh, deep shit. Deep knit. I get it. I like the art. I like the sort of like Electra style here. But I think like in terms of just what it says, like the captions and like that kind of thing is kind of whatever for me. So, but this is the one where I give the most points for art that lacks the substance of any kind of anything interesting in terms of a narrative.
So I'm going to give this a B. What are you giving this?
C.
Okay.
Mostly on art points. And two more. We got the instigator. He'll tuck you up as Tucker here. This one's pretty great. I like this one a lot. I love all the idea of the Times Square, the New York theme here with him.
I like it because it showcases the different Tuckers we saw this season. The Ace Ventura hair, the hat Tucker, the backward side hat Tucker.
Who's this Tucker?
He dressed up like that for during, and I think at AI Arena he dressed.
He did
up
have
like
this helmet on. At
yeah,
one point too. Yeah. Actually, it's pretty good.
To me, this is an A+ for me.
I'm giving this an A as well. This is good. This one's pretty funny. And then finally, Angela, the atomic mom. She'll ready to go nuclear with Matt in her clutches here. This is pretty good too. This is especially with the Matt. I saw this one before I saw Crazy Eyes actually, and they kind of go hand in hand. I kind of want to like them to actually make a comic book about the atomic mom against Crazy Eyes, and their ongoing feud as they battle through the city, some fictional city. But for me, it's probably like a B, but it's pretty good.
I would give this a B+.
Yeah, it's all right. So I think like compared to past years with these big B comics, Jaemeel, this was a pretty good one. I thought that they did better overall. I think that the bell curve went up this year. I don't know if we have statistics on such things of what we've given past comic books, but I remember not being that excited about them last year. I'm not really that. I barely remember Jag last year, unfortunately. So and all that. Okay, so with all that said, I think we wanted to get back to that jury house segment. We talked about T-Core. We talked about Quinn and Leah and the fact that Angela was shocked by
it's not even that she was shocked. She first states that there was practically no chance that Leah would even think about being interested in him. And Leah just shoots her down.
Yeah, she's like, "It's not that crazy, Angela." What? But wasn't
he kind of jimmed the camera though first. He was like, he looked at the camera, he broke the fourth wall when Angela was talking crap about him. I did actually laugh about that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I thought that, but is it reasonable that Angela would have this point of view? Like, wasn't like Leah legitimately not interested in Quinn and Joseph for that matter for most of the season?
I think in the grand scheme of things,
didn't Leah say some not so flattering things about Quinn at times?
Leah said some not so flattering things about a lot of people.
Okay.
Mackenzie included too.
She's got a little bit of a dark side to her.
Yeah, but people's opinions should change though. Like Quinn having a crush on her now is very different than Quinn and Leah, kind of interacting, and then Leah talking about how she doesn't feel that this way or the other, and Leah also kind of brings in kind of string along Joseph at the same time, so you're not really knowing exactly where she stands at that point. And obviously you're probably talking about Angela, and from Angela's point of view, it seems like Leah is playing both Quinn and Joseph as these, suckers that are kind of smitten by her.
A couple of saps.
But she's not like, and from our point of view, from the audience, the whole Quinn thing was in the last week before Quinn was gone. Was her kind of
it came late. I remember that, but I guess to my question was like, is it reasonable that Angela sort of would have that point of view? She was kind of tight with Leah, wasn't she? In the house.
Yeah, but even though you're tight with someone doesn't necessarily mean you know everything. That
clearly,
yeah.
Well, Angela was eating her words.
Did you tell all your friends, all your crushes?
No, definitely not. But I would have liked if Quinn had said to Angela, "Would you like a knife and fork to eat your words with?" Angela, that would have been like poetic. But
she go like this. It's like, what are you doing? I'm eating my own charcuterie.
Yeah, that I got back from Brooklyn. Who stole it from me? That thief, the charcuterie thief. Yeah, like I thought that so the jury segment was it'd be interesting to see. I guess maybe not that interesting to see Chemo join this jury, other than the information he might give to T-Core moving forward here. And
don't they do it in like another week where it's like, oh, he's now been in wherever he's been for a while in the industry, and we're checking up on. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll get something next in one of the next 2 episodes for sure. Probably the next Thursday episode.
Well, sorry. I mean, like, okay, we check in on Chemo. He does his, introduction and coming in, and then wouldn't it be the next time we probably see it is going to be the final 3 Sunday show, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, we only have. How many more episodes do we have? We have this Sunday. We have next Thursday, and then next Thursday
and then
is
a 2-hour thing on Sunday.
So we only have 3 episodes left.
Yeah, so
they're long. They're like 2 hours each, or an hour and a half, right? Like
so I guess you do you put on Sunday? Because you're doing the round table on.
They won't do the round table until the final episode.
Final
probably.
one, right?
Right.
So
when whoever gets evicted this next week, next Thursday, we'll join on that Sunday episode. So we're likely to get, but I don't think that they're going to do jury segments in back-to-back episodes unless they really need to fill that Sunday episode for some reason.
I think they might need to. Like even this episode was tough for me. In terms of
for me too, I was like, "This what you need 2 hours to tell?" I'll be, especially I keep bringing up the tortillas, but I was like, "Is this what we're doing?"
I would have appreciated the HOH competition, or at least the beginning of the HOH competition.
Right. And they spend so much time in these episodes, like with the narration of the competitions, and like
it took so long.
So these are the difference between the 2 comics, and then they'll tell you again. This is like Chelsea telling you, and Chemo already told me in his package. Like
I'm like, I don't care.
Just like whatever. Like, anyway. But
this more than anything is a competition I don't care about them spending any time with. If they just, showed me one person talking about it, a montage of them, trying and failing and succeeding, and then all of them hitting the button and not knowing what time it is, and this segment took maybe 5 minutes instead of the how long did it take? 25 minutes to showcase this? Maybe even longer.
Oh yeah, it was almost 25% of the episode, right?
So yeah, we get 25. That 25% is gone, and we get actual more time dedicated to things that I honestly care about, which is who's going to be HOH, because that's the most interesting. This is a perfectly acceptable reason to have like a not a to be continued, but like the who's gonna win type of situation, leaving on a cliffhanger as to they're deep into the competition, right? Or show the entire competition, because at the end of the day, all we're seeing is veto. We need to see who.
Yeah,
we need to see who's the veto is, because HOH is just immunity.
Do they think that the casual audience just doesn't want that? Like, for me, what I would rather have is more genuine diary room sessions, more like interesting questions presented to them, not like narrate me through this competition, not narrate me through like what the differences in these props are, because that's not that interesting.
That would only matter if like we felt what their diary sessions were being truthful, or at least insightful in some respect, as opposed to we're going to be goofy, and obviously we seem very coached and saying this specific thing about a narrative, and as opposed to true feelings. Like I felt like Tucker was talking more from the hip.
Yes, well, they could really use a Tucker right now, because of the people who are left, Chelsea's one of the only ones, and Mackenzie too. Chelsea, Mackenzie have personality. Rabina at times, and Cam never. Right, unless he's shouting out his dogs.
That's her personality,
right? That's the personalities of these people. But
Mm.
I would rather, like, when you're in the context of showing the competition in this episode, like, go to Cam, like, what were you thinking here? What were you did you think, like, I need this win or I don't need this win? Like, how relaxed were you? That I think that's the stuff more here. But
as opposed to just showing them once after a bunch of stuff has happened and you didn't really get their line by line or piece by piece of how their feelings evolved from point A to point B.
I would rather have more context. If you're going to watch the competition, I would like to know, like, you have no idea who's going to win or not based on looking at these edits. So it's kind of like,
it seems like in a holding pattern because and I think they've been burned before where they put all the eggs in the Chelsea basket because she's just so seemingly dominant. But then a new challenger comes in terms of like Mackenzie on the come up, or we see something else happen. I think that they're just worried that they're going to invest all their time in a particular point of view and it could still be up in the air just because of fuckery.
So the result is you just get like generic all the time from
Yes,
everybody.
that's what it feels like.
So honestly, you don't lean too hard on any one character. Is that the idea? Okay.
It's boring and it's dumb and it's safe and it sucks.
Yeah, I think there's just a better way to go about this. I think to get the best out of each character, not to try to get the same thing out of each character, is my critique. If they'll hear it, I doubt it. But that's sort of my feeling about some of these shows, because if you really want to know the answers to those questions, basically you have to like follow someone like Karen Armstrong, who's going to tell you what.
But even me, like, I am like involving myself in what's happening in the feeds, and sure, Chelsea's the front runner, but she could still lose because that's how the final.
You froze there, or did I freeze?
Hey,
yes.
Final Four week.
Did I freeze or did you freeze?
It could be me.
Okay.
Are we? Yeah. That freeze.
Well, there was a disruption, but
okay.
We might be okay now.
One thing. I'm looking around. Where's the timer?
It's up in the top.
Okay,
left.
there you go. Okay, I'm like, what's going on?
Sorry, we're up to an hour. We're up to an hour here,
folks. Like, it's late.
I know. Okay, we'll get out of here. We're quarter to midnight.
And just like bear with us in terms of our focus. You can kind of tell. You kind of tell that like, woo.
Yeah, the 911 show. It screwed everything up tonight.
Who cares about the killer bees, Dave?
No, I don't. I want Rescue 911 with William Shatner to come back. That was a good show. But this other 911 can get lost.
Yes,
get out of here. But back to I think that's if you're just. I want more out of these like episodes, especially with these like diary room sessions, because I think like there are more interesting questions to ask these house guests. There's more things you can give the audience, even in the context of these 2-hour episodes. Yeah, you have a competition, but like it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be like, you put so much of your budget into the production design that's all you want to showcase. And that's right.
Dave, quick question. Would you prefer a Survivor-esque approach to the challenges, right? So they have Julie describing what the challenge is going to be, and then for the audience, they show us someone doing the challenge, right? And narrating what is supposed to happen, and then all we see is just the challenge.
Well, yes. Okay. I will say I will accept that offer because just, we were watching Survivor last night, and they don't do this in the context of their competitions, right? They explain to you how it works once, right? Normally they're relay races and like, it's kind of like Jeff is just explaining it to the tribes, and in this is different where you have each of them individually doing it. Right. And, but on Survivor, they would never, or very rarely do you get like intercut, like, this is what I was thinking when I was running towards the puzzle and like doing these things.
So it was walking through the puzzle and
I was hanging from the zip line or whatever. But you get more of that in this Big Brother competition narrative, and I would rather have the Survivor version, but even the Survivor version I think has become tired. It's just it's a little bit more exciting to watch just because usually they're kind of more athletic competitions, and I think it's more like watching like almost like a race in the Olympics or something. Most of these Big Brother things are parlor games and stuff that's more random, and so it's I don't know. It's kind of, to me, like who wins a Big Brother competition is largely not based on too much skill most of the time, unless you're Cam, I guess, and then it's just even you can't even like accidentally win. So that's just how it goes
Okay.
here. All right. Well, anyway, I know it's tired. Let's wrap up here for tonight.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Did you appreciate Julie asking Chelsea, tell Auntie who you're voting for? Tell
Auntie. It's Auntie.
Tell Auntie who you're voting for.
I'm a person who says aunt, as I hail from Nova Scotia originally, at least, and that's the version that's used more there, and I like that Chelsea is in brought this out, but I think we have talked this about in past weeks about Julie's embrace of this. Tell Auntie what it is, and then Chelsea loves it too. Chelsea's, and now they're the 5 favorite house guests, Jaemeel, like ever. Like Julie went out on a limb tonight and said, "You are my favorite 5 house guests of all seasons." Like that's kind of bizarre, but
look at past 5. Past 5.
Like Chemo is one of your top 5 all time. Like,
yeah, so I think she likes Chemo, right?
Yes,
I don't think she feels it as a competitive final 5.
Okay, just in terms of she likes these 5 individuals.
She likes these 5 people. There's not like anyone that's really disagreeable.
No, there's nobody there's no one you're actively rooting against of this final 5. There's a couple of people that you don't have much excitement for.
Correct.
But yeah, they're
even
all
Joseph in his delusional splendor,
I'm sure for Julie Chen, it has nothing to do with the fact that most of these final 5 are pretty religious. And I'm sure that's not influencing her.
Come to church with Auntie.
Come to church. They were saying amen tonight, and they were going off. Like I think
give me a Satanist next season.
All right. I know you're a big fan of like when they show family clips too.
I skipped over that. I'm like 5 seconds, and I'm like, "Yep, got it. Yep, 5 seconds. Yep, it's."
My favorites was Cam's dad. Did you see that part?
I did see. I'm surprised I didn't see a washcloth there to wipe his forehead as he was talking, because it seemed like he was kind of out of breath.
Yeah, I don't know. He must have just got out of a run or something. But, but Cam's dad goes, "Hey, it's your second favorite all-time fan, or second oldest fan ever, right?" And then Julie asks Cam what he was talking about. Who's the first oldest? And he goes, "I don't know. He must have been talking about my stepmother, maybe." And I was like, "What?
How'd your stepmom like that?"
Yeah, and then Julie's like, "Well, never mind any of this, and like, let's change the subject." But I just thought
that well is empty. Let's go move on to the next thing.
It made more sense about Cam, like when you see Cam's dad, and then that reaction, and you go, like, the apple did not fall far from the tree here.
Chelsea's family messing up the camera and flipping it over.
That was funny. Basically, Mackenzie's family is exactly as I imagined them.
The construction family.
Construction family, yeah, but I know the type. Texas, church-going folk, competitive as hell, into their sports, right? And close as a family. And that, Rabina's was fine.
It was very traditional,
very expected for that. And who am I forgetting? Chemo had his brother and his mom. He was losing it, but yeah. Whatever, I feel another time filler, basically, right?
Yeah. If it was like something interesting, like does anyone want to know kind of thing, where you drop it just feels. I hate the family thing on Big Brother. Just don't do it. You're supposed to see them in blah 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 time. You'll see them. Cam, you want to see your family? Win an HOH so you can get a letter.
Yeah, I wonder if they could have kept Kenny around if they had just showed that earlier in the season. It's like, look, everybody, we'll go through all 16 of you, and you can all see a little hello, And there'd be Kenny's wife say, "Don't come home, Kenny."
It's like everyone's like, I would want to send you home, but I don't want to get your wife angry, so I'm not doing it.
Right. Yeah, that would be like the best if like they actually went and got his wife to send something at him and said, "No, like we don't. There's no part of us that wants this for you, Kenny.
You come back.
Come back. You're sleeping on the lawn. You're not coming back in here.
That'll be so awesome.
You're a real wiener. We heard.
If you're on the block right now, you're disgusting.
Yeah, this is not Boston Strong. Come on, let's go. All right. Well, Jaemeel, we will be back in 1 week's time to talk about the penultimate episode and the final 4 eviction. 12 weeks. We're up to what are we now in 80 days? I think here. So only 13 more to go or so.
Only 13 more to go.
10 more. Only 10 more to go. So 90 days is coming upon us, Jaemeel. It's always a journey.
So what else are we doing on the Super Mario Brothers?
Super Mario Brothers, well, Survivor right now, Survivor 47. We are covering all that every Wednesday night. Check out our coverage over there. As we got our various draft teams going at it here from the channel.
Soul Power.
Yeah, Soul Power. Who needs willpower when you got Soul Power? Look, we'll be talking about that. Also, I guess we got the Mary Mater Marvel Society, as it's known. Our sub playlist here on the channel where you can watch our Marvel MCU reviews, everybody, if you're into those movies or the TV shows for that matter. I guess Agatha All Along is our next go at it. Actually, that's probably what I'll go watch next is Agatha All Along.
You didn't watch it last night?
No, I thought it came out on Thursday. Is it coming out on Wednesday?
Comes out Wednesday. I watched it this morning, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, today's Thursday, so
I think it comes out Wednesday at 9.
Wednesday night. Okay. So I would,
Wednesday at midnight.
So as soon as all those episodes wrap, we'll be doing a podcast on that. And
November 3rd. I thought we were doing it on November 3rd.
Oh, we probably are. Yes. Okay. I forgot. It's late, Jaemeel.
I'm sorry.
And it's it's all right. It's CBS or Global. That's actually more Global's fault. My other point was we have great things in the United Federation of Podcasts.
Yes.
All kinds of great stuff. Our award nominated, X-rated, or Davin Skelhorn, Andre Mayette nominated for Best Halifax Podcast. Lenore Zahn is right behind them, everybody. If you know who she is, the voice of Rogue. And our Star Trek podcast, Live Long and Podcast, all kinds of podcasts right now, including the Orville on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Very soon, Lower Decks later this month will be the final season will be reviewed. And if you're into Star Trek, go check out that channel. We got all kinds of channels. We got the Hey, Did You See This One, guys? They were on tonight talking about a Freddy Krueger movie, I believe. No, Chucky. It was a Chucky movie they were covering. A Bride of Chucky, perhaps? I don't know. If you're into that, those guys are funny. And they're on for like 5-hour podcasts. So if you want real like deep dive analysis, go see them. Anyway, I think those are all the plugs that I had to go into, Jaemeel.
Currently, yes.
Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
So thanks for being with us. I hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you in 1 week's time for the final go here. And I don't know. I've got no great clips here. We'll leave you with Julie Chen, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Love one another. Good night.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, Did You See This One? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.